This is the Sumatran rhino, and they're practically extinct. But there is hope. A new agreement has been signed by the governments of rhino range countries in Asia, which could prevent the forest giant from disappearing forever. Kambas National Park is a pocket of pristine lowland rainforest in southern Sumatra. It's one of the last remaining natural habitats of the Sumatran rhino. There are now less than 100 individuals left on Earth. So, how did we get to this crisis point?
Mostly what has happened is that they have been poached out throughout their range, and or their habitat has been restricted or fragmented because of human agricultural activities and encroachment into protected areas. So the reason the crisis is so great right now is largely because the whole of the population seems to be lost from Malaysia, and so that is why there's been this rapid decrease.
Fortunately, Malaysia is one of the signatories of the Bandar Lampung Declaration, along with representatives from the governments of Bhutan, India, Indonesia, and Nepal, all countries with populations of rhino. It's a major step towards the recovery of the Indian rhino, the Javan rhino, and the Sumatran rhino. So now there are specific goals for the three species. Increase populations by 3% per year, protect the natural habitat, bolster law enforcement, bring in local communities, and ensure serious consequences for poaching. Here in Kambas, there are still about 30 Sumatran rhinos living in the wild, as well as another 5 in a sanctuary. This is the Rhino Protection Unit. They work on the ground and in intelligence circles. They're seen as one of the most successful in Southeast Asia, and it's being used as a model in other parks and regions to protect endangered species. Arif Rubayanto is head of the RPU and has had a long career history in anti-poaching, intelligence gathering, and law enforcement.
When we start with the Rhino Protection Unit in 1995, many illegal activity. We found rhino skeleton in the forest. So after the RPU start and we can control the situation, the population become increased. In 2006, we found rhino killed by poaching. That's the last case for rhino poaching in Kambas National Park. So at least for the last 7 years, we didn't found the poaching activity anymore.
The RPU works on the ground to clear traps and track illegal activity. But the rhinos need to be breeding for the RPU to have a population to protect. That's where the Bandar Lampung Declaration's greatest challenge lies. Sumatran rhinos don't breed well in captivity. In the last 15 years, only 2 rhinos have been born in captive programs.
Part of the problem in terms of why they're so difficult to breed is simply the fact that we have not had healthy reproductive age females in the managed breeding population. So it's yes, they're hard to breed, but we know how to do it. But one of the key factors is, of course, having appropriately aged and reproductively capable animals.
So, how do you breed with a rhino population that's scattered across Asia? Some Sumatran rhinos live in Malaysia, others in 3 separate national parks in Indonesia, and of course, those in captivity in zoos. At this stage, the solution is radical and simple: capture.
The Malaysians have made a commitment that they are going to go in and capture all remaining animals that can be found. They have traps out for one female, what they think is one female right now, but to tell you the truth, there might only be 2 or possibly 3 animals left. And so even if they capture those and bring them in, there's a high probability that they will have been reproductively inactive for so long that their reproductive tracts might not be working well.
Dedi Kandra, the veterinarian at Kambas, lays out the solution.
International Rhino Foundation need to bring back all the Sumatran rhino from the zoo to Sumatra. Two reasons. The first is good habitat, good browse or something like that. Back to Sumatra is the best option. We need also to supporting this project, to supporting the Sumatran rhino or rhino conservation in Indonesia. Need to support from the people from the outside Indonesia. That's why the Sumatran rhino as ambassadors also is important. If we look the one side for the behavior and then the good place for Sumatran rhino, yes, we need to bring back the old rhino to Indonesia.
For Sumatran rhino, that's the last hope, the big hope to increase population Sumatran rhino around the world in this part, in this Kambas National Park.
Dedi and Enov may have a point. Kambas is an ideal habitat for these browsing rhinos. The wild population is showing signs of growth, and the sanctuary is one of the few successes worldwide.
The success in Indonesia, for example, recently is largely due to the fact that we shipped Andalas, a male born and bred in Cincinnati, to Indonesia, and there happened to be 2 young, healthy females there for him to breed with.
And breed he did. In 2012, his son, a rhino named Andatu, was born here in Kambas National Park's Rhino Sanctuary, his birth providing a glimmer of hope for the species. Andatu means gift from God, and this little guy quickly captured the imagination of thousands of online viewers through video postings on YouTube. Andatu is now just over a year old, but still suckles from his mother when he gets the chance. He even has his own Facebook page, where his fans can learn more about the plight of his species. But no matter how many likes Andatu gets, social media can only do so much. His and the other rhinos' futures are dependent on rolling out the declaration. All future rhinos bred will need indigenous habitat to live in. And there's the other challenge. This map shows the historical range of the Sumatran rhino and what it is right now. Indonesia is notorious for its destruction of rainforests, but this little story is already proving a success. But this is a very ambitious project. It's also going to be expensive and time-consuming, and there's no guarantee that the program will be ultimately successful.
In the next 10 years, we will have won the battle. We will know if we've won the battle or lost the battle. And so our organization, the International Rhino Foundation, as well as other organizations, are putting their muscle and our technical capacity and everything we've got behind making sure that we don't lose this species. We've drawn the line in the sand. We're not going to let these guys go.
So while there are still animals left, and there is suitable protected habitat, there may just be a hope for the Sumatran rhino, and it could very well start and end right here in Kambas National Park.